Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here. Happy Monday, May 3rd, 2021. We got a couple videos. Nothing crazy, no insane news, although the day is young. But it seems like we might have a nice, quiet day. Knock on wood, something crazy is going to happen. It always does. Whenever you're outside and the birds start chirping, there's about to be an earthquake, okay? There's about to be an earthquake in Bachelor Nation. I don't know what it is. Get underneath the doorway and subscribe to my channel, and we will ride this pony out together. Speaking of riding out ponies, we've got Zach Clark, a.k.a. Clacky, out here, and he did a interview with Chicks in the Office on Barstool. Viva La Stool. And he talked about how his mom unfollowed Tayshia. It's a fun little clip I'm going to play. Nothing crazy. Of course, we love Zach and Tayshia. They seem to be doing really well. I mean, here's the difference, right? You get these contestants that are in their early 20s, and then you get Zach, who I believe is 36. I just turned 36. Let me tell you something. A lot changes with the hustle of men going from early 20s to mid 30s. It's almost like, all right, we're here. We're not old. We're not young. We don't care if so-and-so unfollows so-and-so. We don't get riled as much and wear our heart on our sleeve in certain ways. He's a very confident guy. And again, I'm speaking in general terms here. Everyone's different. Of course, Bennett is out there in his late 30s, and he's acting like a 16-year-old at a mall, at a Wetzel's Pretzels with his Instagram. Like, Kelly, will you be mine? It's like, listen, Kelly, she's a little freaked out by you. But a nice jawline, so you never know. When you got a good jawline like Bennett, you can be a little creepy. That's the way it works. It's only creepy if it's not charming. All right, folks. So anyway, looking at you, Colton. Really going off on tangents here. Let's just get right into this clip I'm going to play. And if anybody has a story about something funny that your mom did with social media, I would love for you to share it below. I would love you to share it in the comments. I got a stand-up bit about my mom, how she's she's a cryptic texter. She every text she sends me ends in a ... It's very cryptic. She's like, "Gonna go take the dog for a walk ... And I'm like, "Don't do it, Mom. No, please." My mom does not understand texting lifestyle or social media at all. I still follow her on Facebook, but I don't get any notifications. I just don't. It's a different human. When you talk to your moms on social media, it's a different human than when you talk to them in real life. Like my stepdad just had surgery and he's doing well. He had surgery to have his hip replaced. After the surgery, my mom's phone, my mom forgot to charge her phone, so her phone went dead. And my stepdad's phone went dead. So I'm trying to call them up and both phones are off. And I'm like, you don't do this when you're in surgery. You leave the phone on in case people want to know updates. Anyway, that's just my story. But moms, they just don't understand. Anyway, folks, this is Zach talking about his 70-year-old mom. Let's play this clip here. And maybe we'll play the full thing. Maybe we won't. But let's enjoy.
Manage the pressures from the fans and the outside world because, people love you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always great to be loved, but at the end of the day, we are in a relationship with each other, right? And so all that noise and all that drama doesn't really matter. I mean, obviously it can affect people, especially if it's negative, but we get really good at swipe and delete. I've learned that just
Yeah, in the DMs, you're just I don't even want to look at this anymore.
I mean, it's either that or I laugh out loud. I mean, some of the shit is so funny.
Yeah.
You just have to appreciate it, so.
Yeah. Good. Well, that's good because I'm sure there's definitely some crazy messages and things that you guys get, but
oh no, there was some shit with my mom. First of
all,
all, my mom
I forgot about that. Yes, your mom unfollowed
Let
Tayshia.
Let him tell it.
My mom
Everybody freaked out.
70 years old.
Yeah.
Loves a glass of Chardonnay. Probably at home, doing this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I call him Mom, what's going on? Why did you unfollow?
You have the internet
what happened?
ablaze.
She's like, I didn't unfollow her. And Tayshia has this podcast. She's like, I just kept getting all these things for clickbait, and I didn't know what to do, and I started just clicking things. So she probably but these people are out there sourcing this shit all day.
So moms are the number one reason that things in Bachelor Nation get spoiled. As we know, Matt James' mom followed Rachel Kirkconnell after the show was over, and people see this. They just live in a world where they didn't know you could see it. How would they know what I'm doing? It's on my phone, no big deal. I mean, imagine a mom with the glasses that are on the tip of the nose, just ready to fall off into her, decaffeinated 3 p.m. coffee, just trying to look at this device device. It's so the phone's this big, right? When my mom sends me a text, she sends me one letter at a time. It looks like Vanna White. She's just like H-E, 2 L's. Can I buy a vowel? Is it hello, Mom? What do you got over there? But then they're just like, oh, did I unfollow so-and-so? And then all of a sudden, just one errant thumbnail, and then there I am making videos about conspiracies.
Day long, so.
Oh, they know who is following who. They know who's not following who. They know the second you unfollow somebody. It's honestly wild the things that they can detect.
Right.
But you just got to.
They said something about Caitlyn not following you or following you and then not following you. And then Caitlyn was like, "Well, I never followed him to begin with."
Ooh, well, she probably will now.
He looks uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, it was that I thought was funny. Like, she, it was like a social media like. Well, I went to check to see if Zach followed me, and he didn't, so I didn't follow him.
Fair enough.
Valid.
I do that with people. Yeah. How was it during the filming of the show? Because you mentioned you didn't sign yourself up for this, but you were going in head first. Yeah. Did you know the whole time that you and Tayshia kind of had a special connection, or is it something you figured out more towards the end?
Well, I can start. I think in order to answer that question, I got to talk about the Claire piece a bit. Mm-hmm. Like, for a lot of reasons, I'm grateful that it happened the way it did. One of which, like, I showed up there and my head was rotating. Like, I was like, what is going on? Like, I remember sitting at that first rose ceremony. I'm like, just send me home. Just send me home. Just send me home. Like, I just was, like, so uncomfortable at first. But I feel like I almost got a dry run, right? Like, I feel like I almost got this dry run. And then... the drama happens. Dale and Claire ride off into the sunset. Good for that, or sunset. Good for them. And Tayshia walks in. I'm like, okay, we're live. Yeah. You know, like, okay, it's on. You know, and so I know that first night, we connected a little bit, like by the fountain, and then since then, I mean, like we like from that moment forward, I should say we always had a nice connection. The one-on-one, like where I was able to get real about, you know, some of my history and the Ferris wheel and that kind of stuff was when it really, I think, took off for me. So
yeah, and I think that conversation is something that everyone really appreciated. I know that we talked about it after, and we were like, this is honestly great, because a lot of the conversations that were had on the Claire/Tayshia season were things that were never discussed on the show before, or maybe brushed upon but not discussed in depth. And so we really admire that you were so open on such a big platform about something like that. It was really, I think, big of you to open up like that, because you don't have to air all that out, but what you talked about can definitely help a lot of people. I'm sure it did. And just hearing about how open and honest you were was really awesome for the viewers.
Something the show's never really done before.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. And I mean, just for even for you guys, I'm sure at your age, like you're starting to see some friends kind of like go down these like kind of weird road, and like maybe they have an issue, maybe they don't, you know? And for me, like I'm at a point in my life where I'm not ashamed of it. It's actually, I'm very proud of it, you know? And like, if people want to judge me for that shit, fine. But my life is incredible to like, it's next level, right? And I get to do all the shit that I used to do hammered, and I wake up feeling great, you know, like that's the way I see it. So I appreciate you saying that, obviously.
Yeah, and that's a really positive outlook to have on it.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, you know, to your point, the guys, I think one of the things that gets lost in this whole thing is it takes balls to like go out and like do, like, so all the guys that showed up there and like, and Tayshia and Claire and like all the people, you know, it's I think it's glorified to a certain degree, but it takes a certain type of individual to really go on TV and like put yourself out there like that. And I think we had a really good group, and Tayshia was kind of able to hold that space for some of those conversations. I know like with Ben and Ivan, and some of that shit was real. So
yeah, do you think like you guys kind of being an older cast made a big difference? Because there's been so many seasons where like the median age is like 23, 24, and you didn't see these kinds of conversations happening.
I mean, I would put it back on you guys. Like you watched the show, right? Like I would ask you, like if you felt that coming through. I think so. I
thought that the age really made a huge difference.
Right.
Yeah, I think that was the general conversation that we took away from the whole season, because obviously
more mature guys.
Yeah, we talked about that, and obviously it was a crazy season. It was all over the place. We were like, oh, you know, even as viewers, I mean, it was crazier for you guys, but as viewers, we were like, what is happening? A new Bachelorette? Ah. But we love Tayshia, so we were so excited about that. But the whole thing that we took away was like, okay, you know, was this the most explosive ending? No. Was it the craziest thing? Maybe not, but I think that this season had something that it never had, and it was because
Some
everyone
legit
seemed
substance.
very mature. Yeah, there was like actual substance to the show.
And and I'll end the clip here. You can go check that full clip out for Zach's interview with Chicks in the Office. I think this clip so far, I think it's like a B- as far as like the vibe. It feels like he was on the circuit doing a bunch of podcasts, and the energy. I don't know. To me, it was kind of like they weren't quite grooving. But anyway, I like that Zach looks like a Ukrainian drug smuggler here with this outfit. He's just ready to sell the nuclear codes to somebody in some movie. I like that he didn't sign himself up. I think that's important. It would be nice. I don't know. Maybe sometimes they share this stuff, but it would be nice to know when we're watching the show who signed themselves up and what that process was like. Because some people, these shows obviously attract a clientele that wants to be in front of the camera, which can lead to people that are there for the wrong reasons, which, it's kind of hard for them not to. I think they need to do a better job of casting guys like Zach, who might not be the poster boy for needing the attention, but might be the right person that's ready for love. I feel like, and again, it doesn't always work this way, but sometimes when you're the type who needs attention, you're not ready to give the love that the person might need. You know what I mean? So we see that when people go on the show and then all of a sudden they're not ready for the final thing. But the ladies mentioned like, hey, it's an older cast, and that doesn't always add up to maturity. Bennett is older or the same age as Zach, and Bennett, was like kind of weird with the power dynamic with Chasen or some of the other younger guys or whatever. It was kind of like, they had some weird things going on there. So age is not the only factor for maturity. We know that, but in a lot of cases, the older you get, the more you burn off whatever that young ego is that you have, where you just want to impress everyone and eat cold cuts and get in fights. So my thing is, if I produce the show, it is a delicate line. It's like, how do we get people to want to watch the show? Is it through showing someone flips a table and throws someone through a window? Or is it through the higher stories we find like Zach? Or a combination of the two? I think you can have drama. I think it's naturally going to come out in this environment, but I think they could play to a higher intelligence. When with improvisational comedy, they always say play up to someone's intelligence. Don't go for the dumb joke. Assume your audience is really smart. I think with my channel, I assume you guys are really smart. I assume you guys are on board with me with critical thinking and media literacy and looking at both sides of the story and with humor. I think you guys are pretty smart. And now it doesn't mean, we're not going to disagree on things or come to different conclusions. As we know, when with regards to Zach's mom unfollowing Tayshia, I was right on board with people that were making content out of it. It was salacious. Did they break up? There were some clues. When you're looking for clues to see if someone broke up, it can be pretty damning. It can be like, oh, well, Caitlyn doesn't follow Zach. Caitlin's with Tayshia. Tayshia's hosting this. Maybe Zach's holding her back. But then when you start piecing things together, looking at it from whatever your opinion may be, it becomes so flawed. So people are thinking, oh, Zach doesn't support her. And I'm sure Zach's like, to hell I don't support her. Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? So it can just be foolish. And in most cases, I think that people won't be skewed by the opinions of others. But also, if someone like Tayshia's getting hundreds of comments from people being like, did you guys break up? She immediately goes on social media and goes, no, you idiots, my ring was getting cleaned. I'm doing this. Just calm down. And you know what? Hey, guilty as charged. It's almost like when you get caught talking in class and the teacher's like, Brian, be quiet. And you're like, yep, you're right. I was loud. I had a pixie stick. I'm a little sorry. Okay. The other thing I'll say is very interesting to hear Zach talk about Claire's season. Of course, we know Zach was among the cast there for the brief few episodes of Claire's season, and how on night one he said, what is going on? He felt so uncomfortable. I mean, I can't imagine how bogus it is. Every guy's dressed up perfectly. No one's wearing socks. They all got like spandex capri suits on, whatever that new Palm Springs style is. And then Zach's there, some real deal guy from Philly or Baltimore, wherever the heck that mid-Atlantic guy is from. And he's like, oh man, I feel like this isn't for me. He gets his uncomfortable vibes out of the way, takes his batting practice with Claire's season. Then oh boy, that's my girl. Then Tayshia walks in and he's like, all right, game on. Now we begin. So a very, very fun and unique scenario that I don't believe we've had before, right? The mid-season replacement. I don't think we've had that before. So very interesting for him to talk about it. And also when it comes to addiction, it's funny because these girls are, I think I'm assuming they're mid-20s, right? So he's like, got that sort of sage advice where he's like, you guys are at the age, and we all know this, where like in your mid-20s, you have the dust that settles from years of partying in college. And some people, there was a guy in my fraternity who just passed away from a liver failure. And I'm assuming it was I think they said it was from he was an alcoholic. And how do you go from knowing like, all right, this is normal, get it out of your system, to like, okay, I've got a problem. And I think what most people say, and again, consult professionals, reach out to people, and go to an AA program if you have any questions about your own addictions. There's plenty of 12-step programs that exist out there: Narcotics Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, Codependence Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous. It's all out there. So if you're thinking you need help, you can find it. Send me a DM and I'll point you in the right direction. But the question becomes, when you look yourself in the mirror, is an addiction is something that takes away from your living. So if you're overly consumed by pornography, by alcohol, by weed, by whatever it is, does it get in the way of living the good life? And if it does, now's the time. There's no better time than today to admit that you are not as powerful as you might think you are, to control it and release it. Have serenity. Release the knowledge that you have an addiction that's bigger than you, and that's the first step of learning that you have a problem, and then you move on from there. I'm no expert with it all. I had tequila over the weekend for my birthday. I don't have an alcohol problem. We got this new bottle of tequila, and we have this other one. We've only had like that much in a year. I probably have in total 4 drinks a month, but I had a couple of those Saturday night for my birthday. And let me tell you, I did not feel pretty waking up on Sunday. I was like, you don't recover from tequila when you're 36. You know what I mean? Back in college, you could drink that plastic bottle Sousa's tequila. Costs like $8 for the whole thing. Nah, playa. No thanks. Not anymore. I can barely have a LaCroix without waking up sore. You know what I mean? Oh, folks. Yeah, my cake. Good cake. Anyway, let me tell you this. I'm going to post a photo of the cake that I made. I made a vaccination cake. I made a giant syringe needle out of funfetti. It's gluten-free and vegan. And I'm going to post that in my mailing list. I'm sending an email out, first one tomorrow morning. So link in the description to sign up for the mailing list. It's free. It's no BS. It's just me mailing you guys an email. And I'd love for you guys to sign up. We got about 1,000 of you guys have already signed up. It's going to be a place where I can send some personal stuff, reach out to you, send you some little inspiration, maybe once every couple weeks. Just a way for me to connect with you guys on a different level. And then when stand-up shows come about in your area, I'll send an email saying, I got a show. You want to come out and laugh? Anyway, you guys enjoy the day. 4 p.m. live stream today. More content to come. Leave a comment and let me know what your zany mom sends you in text messages. All right, bye, guys.